Okay, so you land a job, you've been promised certain things, that the job would entail certain things. Now, for me, I have worked remotely, I have been in office, I've done it all. I like both. I like a combination of being remote and working from home, but also going into the office if possible, if it's not too far away, if I'm not driving an hour each way or something like that, right? So, and in a lot of traffic. But if you take a first job, you commit to a first job, and then all of a sudden, what was talked about is not what this job is. I've gone in where I thought I would be doing paralegal work as well as secretarial. And it was a combination of both, and I would say most paralegal jobs are a combination. It's not that you have your own secretary most of the time, okay? That is a rarity. So understand that. What is it that you're being promised in the job? And I'll tell you what I was promised in my first interview ever for a legal job, and I landed that job as a legal secretary, legal receptionist. That was my foot in the door job. I was promised a review at 6 months because, and I'm not going to quote salaries, so don't ask me that. I was at a very, low salary, but I was looking forward to what I could bump that up to. So when somebody promises me a review, I know I'm going to do the best job I can, and then they will have it on their calendar and they will review me fairly. Doesn't always happen. And it did not happen. In fact, the managing partner, the attorney who interviewed me initially, acted like he had never had this conversation with me. Now that meant that, and this is true, that I couldn't trust what this guy was going to say in the future about anything, because obviously he was not telling the truth, or he didn't write it down. He had no memory of it. Selective memory loss, whatever it was. I knew that I wouldn't be staying there, because if that's how this business is going to be run, then I need to find something else. Okay, so when you go on an interview and certain things are said, write it all down, but the bottom line is they may not comply. They may not comply. That could go for any job you're interviewing with. And they may say those things like, we'll give you a review and a possible raise. They're not promising it because it's based on your performance. That's what they were saying to me. That's fair. However, I was driving 40 miles one way to go to this job to break in. That's all on me when I'm breaking into a field like that, like this. And so write it down. And then if they renege, if they go back and they say, no, we love the work you're doing, but we can't give you a raise right now, or this job, yes, I told you it was going to go to a remote position within a month, but we're not going to do that. And now you're in a job where you're paying for gas, wear and tear on your car that you did not want to you didn't want to go through that expense or the time in traffic, depending on where you live. So what do you do? Well, you always keep your eye on the market and what it's doing and what jobs are out there. Never take your eyes off the market and the jobs that are out, and you always have your cover letter and resume ready to go. That's what I learned from this experience. So hope this was helpful to you today. Always be prepared for the next move, because most of the jobs that you have, you're not going to stay in for 5, 10, 20 years. That's a rarity. So be prepared.